Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the dceu Daily. Very shortly, we're going to be reacting to the brand new Black Adam first trailer very shortly. Then after we've dissected that trailer and we've spoken about it in detail, we will talk about last night's breaking news that Joker 2 is coming, and it has a little title which could hint to a brand new Harley Quinn in the DC universe. I'm very excited to discuss that. And then we talk about David Zaslav's continuing frustration with the current DCEU. No sequels, not enough content. They didn't even have enough DCEU content for next year, and until they started cancelling stuff. So we'll discuss that. And at the end of the video, we will discuss Tim Burton's frustrated, controversial comments about how WB treated him after Batman Returns. But right now, let's check out and react together to this Black Adam trailer.
Black Adam, what have your powers ever given to you? Nothing but heartache.
I was a slave until I died. Then I was reborn a god. My son sacrificed his life to save me. Now, I kneel before no one. In this world, there are heroes. In my city, wherever I go. And there are villains. Heroes don't kill people. Well, I do. My vision has shown me the future.
You have two choices. You can be the destroyer of this world, or you can be its savior. That's up to you.
Did he just catch a rocket?
So wow, that was your trailer for Black Adam, trailer number 1. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great, epic, and surprisingly funny. Is this the best trailer for a movie I have ever seen? No. Is it as good as I thought it might have been? No. It's very clear that they're hiding a lot of things, and it's also very clear they're going to be using Pierce Brosnan a lot. He's probably the most kind of highly respected actor with a big CV in this movie as well. So it's great to have Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, Kent Nelson. So that element looks great. Look, the Rock looks great. Look, The Rock's always going to play The Rock. That's what you get with The Rock. This guy wanted to play this character all his life, and he got what he wanted. If you ask me, honestly, and you took me to a corner and say, Mick, would you, if you could pick anyone as The Rock, it probably wouldn't, as Black, if I could pick anyone for the Black Adam character, would it be The Rock? I'd probably say no. But it is The Rock. I like The Rock, and he's really pushed passionately to make this picture with his people The action looks really, really good. I like the music because it's cultural music from Black Adam's background, which is, of course, very, very important. So they've got that cultural vibe. We see Hawkman, of course, telling Black Adam that heroes don't care, and Black Adam goes, "Well, I do." It was a much shorter trailer than I thought it would be. Considering they've made us wait for so long for this trailer, I'm surprised they didn't add another minute on it. A little nitpick as well. So yes, I did absolutely like what I saw. A very compelling moment when he's embracing his son, who he tells us within the narration sacrifices his life for him, for Black Adam, which is a very gripping story. I don't really know the origin story of Black Adam. I kind of know that he was given the powers of Shazam, and then basically he and the wizard Shazam fell out and stuff like that, but I don't know the details, so that'll be very interesting to see more of that within the marketing and more trailers coming out. Obviously, there'll be a second and a third trailer later on this year. I mean, they've just finished doing reshoots. I don't think there'll be any more reshoots. I was crossing my fingers for a Henry Cavill Superman reveal. I mean, if it was me, because this franchise is in so much trouble, and if Henry Cavill is in this movie, I would fucking reveal him, because they need to reveal him. They need something. So, as I say, it's not the trailer I expected. It's not the trailer that I wanted. I expected something very different. Maybe I expected far too much. Did I like what I saw? Did I like what I saw? Absolutely. I really liked what I saw. I like the bit when they're dragging him in the kind of, I suppose, the coma, and they're kind of helping him breathe and stuff like that. But yeah, it doesn't really give away plot details here. As I say, it does seem to be hiding a hell of a lot as well. So only time will tell. Does this movie tell us does this trailer tell us if this movie is going to be any good or not? No, I don't think there's anything in this trailer that says to me, right, Mick, you can relax, smoke your cigar, it's going to be all right, this is definitely going to be a great movie. No, I need to be convinced. I must admit, I had more confidence before I saw the trailer than after I saw the trailer. And that's not me saying it's a bad trailer. I just feel it didn't show enough. And I understand about hiding things. And, with BVS and Man of Steel, they certainly showed a bit too much. And that's true. But yes, I expected to see a little bit more. I predicted about a 3-minute trailer. I think they needed that. They really needed to show us something expansive. It is the first trailer. The first trailers are normally around 2 minutes. 2 minutes is a good chunk of time. But again, they kind of diddled around showing us anything that could kind of lock this into getting us overly hyped. Now, I'm sure many, many people are hyped about this, but when it comes to DC, I've been tricked before. So, as I say, this trailer doesn't convince me of anything. That there are some good moments here. As I say, The Rock looks great as Black Adam, but they didn't really show in detail the other JSA members. We saw them, but not in great detail. I would have liked to have seen Hawkman with his helmet off, for example, doing his stuff. We didn't really see much of that. So it's a good, solid, proficient trailer, but I wouldn't go as far as to say it nails it on and tells me this is going to be a great movie. As I say, I'm more concerned now after seeing them hiding a lot in this trailer than I was before. It's like they're hiding the movie. And, I've seen a lot of trailers. I see the MCU movies. The MCU movies don't hide stuff. They don't give away the plot. There's a difference between showing too much, giving away the plot, and actually saying, this is our movie, we're proud of it, we have nothing to hide. And to me, I suspect this movie has a great deal to hide. Now, that could be a good thing, and I hope that it is, but it could also be a very, very bad thing. So time will only tell at the end of the day. So, yes, it made me smile, as you could see. It excited me in places, but it didn't convince me that this movie is a slam dunk. And I'm going to read a couple of comments from my subscribers about this trailer. There's not many comments, but we'll get into it. So John, first of all, said yes. Then he expanded. I did not like the music in the trailer. Well, John, as I explained to you on Twitter, the music is cultural music. I like the music. It worked for me. That's one thing I don't have an issue with. Ronnie Dodge, as usual, very, very, very positive. Really liked it. Gave me Infinity War and Man of Steel vibes with the action. Very interesting. The action was solid. The action didn't say, wow, this is like action I've never seen before. But it's good. The effects don't look bad. As I say, it's a solid trailer. I'm not being negative on purpose. I'm just trying to be honest. And I think it's important that we don't get carried away, because if we kind of paint over the cracks and then we go and see the movie, we're going to be disappointed. But there'll be a lot more conversation in the days, weeks and months to come about Black Adam. But that was the trailer. I would give it a 5 or 6 out of 10. Comment down below and let me know what you thought of the trailer. So on Tuesday night, something really, really exciting happened. If you follow the Joker director Todd Phillips on Instagram, you would have seen confirmation for his Joker sequel script. He had it on display. He also had a picture of Joaquin Phoenix, who played the Joker in the first movie, reading the script. This is official confirmation that the script for the Joker sequel is ready and done. But when will they shoot this movie? Maybe, I'm guessing about October, then we'll go November, December, January, February, March, probably finish next April. Then maybe, if we're lucky, at the end of 2023, we may get the Joker sequel. We may have to wait till 2024, but I doubt it. So let's get the details about this very exciting piece of news, because this is the one thing I'm excited about, because there's no problems with this movie. Todd Phillips isn't a propaganda merchant. He's not woke. He's going to give us an excellent sequel to the people saying we don't need one. We don't need a lot of things in life, but yes, it's good to have them at the end of the day. I didn't ask for an E.T. movie. I didn't ask for a Close Encounters movie, but when I got them, I was highly satisfied. So I'm very excited about this. So, Joker sequel. Todd Phillips reveals working title. Joaquin Phoenix reading script in new pics by Adam B. Vary of Variety. Director Todd Phillips posted to Instagram the first confirmation that the sequel to 2019's Joker is moving forward on Tuesday, including the cover of the script, written by Phillips and Scott Silver, his collaborator on the first film, with the eyebrow-raising title Joker Folly A Do. We'll talk about what the title means shortly. In the same post, Phillips included a shot of star Joaquin Phoenix reading the screenplay. A spokesperson for Warner Brothers did not immediately respond to requests for comment on Phillips' Instagram post. Phillips' original Joker film reframed the iconic Batman villain into an anti-hero character, study about a struggling comedian and part-time clown performer named Arthur Fleck, who becomes a folk hero in Gotham City after he lashes out in acts of shocking violence. Moody, dark, and studiously avoiding the action beats typical of superhero cinema, the film was still a massive global blockbuster, grossing over $1 billion worldwide. It earned 12 Oscar nominations. Let me repeat, a DC movie, a CBM, got 12 12 Academy nominations. That's sensational. That's something that Kevin Feige over at the MCU can only dream about. And I have a great respect for the MCU and what Kevin has achieved. I mean, do I like the success they've got? No. But do I appreciate it? Yes, I do. Our Oscar nominations, including for Best Picture, Best Director for Phillips, and Best Adapted Screenplay for Phillips and Silver. Phoenix won the Oscar for Best Actor, and Hilda Guggenheim won for Best Original Score. That's one of my favourite scores in a film ever. Never mind the CBM. She did well. Soon after the film's debut in 2019, Phillips and Silver met with then Warner Brother film chief Toby Emmerich about a possible sequel. Since then, Matt Reeves' The Batman survived the pandemic shutdown, and star Robert Pattinson contracted COVID the day after the film restarted to become one of the first global blockbusters of the pandemic era, grossing $770.3 million in global box office returns. Both Joker and the Batman exist in separate continuities from the other DC adaptations. Reeves even cast Barry Coogan to play a different version of the Joker in a cameo role. This is really interesting now. What does this sequel do for the Batman sequel as well? Can they both live in separate universes? This is going to be very, very interesting now. Listen, excited about the Batman sequel. More excited for the Joker sequel. While Phillips did not share any plot details about the new Joker movie in his Instagram post, the title does offer some intriguing implications, translated literally as shared madness. Let me repeat that. Shared madness. We will talk about it after I finish reading this article. Folie à deux is a layman's term for shared delusional disorder that could refer for how Arthur's villainy is widely embraced by Gotham City in the first film, but it could also suggest that Phillips' sequel will bring his own interpretation of Joker's main and really only partner in life, crime and madness, Harley Quinn, who has been played in other DC adaptations by Margot Robbie in live action and Kaylee Cuoco in animation. I have been pushing for Kaylee to play the live action character for a long time. She would fucking kill it. I don't think it would happen, but I'd love to see it. I've got a lot of time for Kaylee, another one who's not a propaganda merchant or supporting all women or nonsense like that. She's an actor doing a job and she's good at it, right? Support good people, men, women, however they identify, not just your own gender. This is what I talk about, cultural bias as well. I'm a Greek Cypriot, but I can admit that here in Cyprus we have the worst fucking drivers in the world. So support the good people and, you know, expose the bad ones. That's how I look at it. Anyway, it's a very, very interesting piece of news. So I did tell you again, this guy that doesn't get any views in yesterday's video, right? I'm very disappointed in you guys, right? You either want to support me or not. You don't have to support me, by the way, but very sad. About 20 views, no likes whatsoever. That was disappointing. Maybe I made a bad video, and that's okay. But if you want me to keep going, you keep on coming onto Twitter asking me where's your video, when's it being done? And you don't just press the like button, you don't support the channel. That kind of tells me that you don't want the channel to go on. So if you want me to feel appreciated, because it isn't a big channel, it's not a successful channel, probably never will be a successful channel, but please show me some appreciation if you want me to continue. So one of the options here is a brand new casted Harley Quinn. If Harley is in this will not be Margot Robbie. Margot even saying during the Suicide Squad that she thinks that she's giving Harley Quinn a rest. I've only liked Harley in one film. I didn't mind her in the Suicide Squad, but I preferred her in the first Suicide Squad movie. That felt like a really good version of Harley Quinn. Now, Todd Phillips' version, I would imagine, is going to be very, very dark if she's actually in this film, because David Ayer was going to do this. But I did tell you months ago, this isn't just merely a Joker sequel. I believe it's the next villain story, and the next villain story, I believe, it's my hunch and my opinion, I don't know for sure, it's Harley Quinn's story. They're going to do the whole love story between her and Joaquin Phoenix Joker. It wouldn't surprise me if Harley Quinn has the starring role in this Joker sequel too. And narratively, that would make a lot of sense. Of course, shared delusion, shared madness could mean other characters like a second Joker or things like that, or Two-Face. It could be anything. You know, the title doesn't necessarily mean there's a second character in this film, but I believe there will be a second villain story in this film, and my hunch is it's definitely Harley Quinn. How did I feel when I read this on Twitter last night? Unlike some negative Nellies and even some people getting offended that Harley Quinn could get recast, I am extremely excited. When I have faith in an actor, like I did in the first film, and a director, I sit back with my cigar. Now, we were just talking about the Black Adam trailer, and I was saying, I'm not totally convinced about this film now, and I was before I saw it. Well, this is the stark difference. This is the stark contrast. When it comes to Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix, a critically acclaimed Academy Award winner, I've absolutely got so much faith in this film. And whatever they're going to do with it, I'm absolutely relaxed and excited. Todd Phillips has a huge future in the DC live action universe, working with Warner Brothers Discovery and David Zaslav, and I couldn't be more excited and happier about this news. Warner Brothers right now and the DC live action universe, as we speak about every day, is in flux, and David Zaslav has walked in to see a bigger bomb than he expected, especially with the DC live action universe. Warner Brothers as a whole is easier to fix because you get good people in, you make better films that are going to make more money. But DC is a franchise. It's a universe. What do you do about it? There's upcoming movies coming. It's complicated. You change. You start again with a brand new franchise. These are the questions that David Zaslav is asking himself and his people right now. For Warner Brothers, a leadership change, a polo lounge lunch, and a nagging questions about DC Films' future by Brent Lang and Matt Donnelly of Variety. On Friday, Toby Emmerich had a meal with Michael DeLuca and Pamela Adby at the Polo Lounger hub of deal-making and power lunches, in a move that was clearly designed to send a signal of solidarity to Hollywood. The bread-breaking, which went down as show business players like producer Donald D. Line and CIA agent Joel Lubin dined nearby, came just the day after Emmerich announced that he will step down as head of Warner Brothers Film Studios. DeLuca, who worked with Emmerich back in the day at New Line, and Adby will soon join the company, though in a reduced role. They will oversee Warner Brothers and New Line, but will not have control over Warner Brothers Animation and DC Films. Right, let's explain this away because these journalists are not really doing a good job of it, and I bet you're confused. Right, so DeLuca and Pam Adby are from MGM, CEOs from MGM. They're coming over to take over Warner Brothers Pictures. They will be in charge of everything, right? But obviously, we've already had confirmed that Zaslav wants different department heads. So of course they'll be in charge of DC. They'll be overseeing it, but they won't be running it themselves. They're going to choose a DC Studios president. And, you know, that's what's going on right now. But there might be more on the menu. DeLuca and Adby have told people they expect to have input in what DC does in film and television. However, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav still hopes to find his answer to Kevin Feige, the guru who guided Marvel Studios to big screen dominance for rival Disney. Zaslav already approached Emma Watts, a veteran Fox and Paramount executive, about the job. But the talks collapsed. Insiders say that no announcement about a DC chief is imminent. So it's important to understand, according to them at least, no DC Studios president is going to be announced in the near future. Now, the Emma Watts situation, I don't believe Emma Watts was ever being touted as a head of DC. She hasn't got the experience to run DC. She has no experience whatsoever to be running, a movie franchise studios, if you like. I believe Emma Watts was in discussions to get the job that's now been given to Pam Adby and DeLuca. I think that's the job she was in the frame for, as far as I know, because I would be very worried if he was, if Zaslav was looking at her to take over DC, because I don't get it. Yes, she's very good at her job, but what does she know about DC? That's the problem. And he could be looking in the wrong area to get this sorted. So fingers crossed. They are looking into it right now. They are trying to find someone to run a DC Studios. But clearly, this is not something that's going to happen in the next month or two. But they need to do it. They need to be efficient and get the right person for the job. But it is a race against time because DC live action is in an absolute mess. As he navigates the film world, Zaslav has relied extensively on the insight of a constellation of industry players such as former Disney chief Bob Iger and CAA head Brian Loud, pulling them about his plans to reshape the studio. He's also in talks with former Disney film chief and Warner Brothers leader Alan Horn about becoming a consultant. The courtship of Watts means Walter Hamada, the current president of DC Films Production, has an uncertain future, even though he remains under contract until 2023. Zaslav believes that DC is underutilized. Let's say that again so we understand. Zaslav believes that DC is an underutilized asset. He's frustrated that its cinematic output has been inconsistent and that there hasn't been sufficient long-term planning in terms of rolling out sequels and follow-ups to popular movies. Exactly. Because next year they had no films planned and they delayed a couple of films to kind of make up the numbers. One of the reasons the films have been delayed. So it's an absolute mess. David Zaslav is absolutely right to be horrified by this. Supporters of Hamada believe the executive hasn't received enough credit, piss off, under his leadership. The studio scored massive hits with Aquaman and The Batman, the latter earning the comic book label's best reviews since Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. They also note that DC has moved more aggressively into multi-platform storytelling, creating spin-off shows out of characters like Peacemaker and Penguin, right? Well, the Penguin show is that's all down to Matt Reeves. Yeah, you know, you could give Hamada credit for green-lighting it, but come on. The franchise is a fucking mess. Hamada wanted to replace Superman with Supergirl. The whole thing's an absolute mess. This guy deserves absolute no credit. It's a joke. Toby Emmerich's leadership has been a joke of the whole studio. So no credit for either of those. We need new leadership at WB. We've got new leadership at WB. Now we need new leadership at DC Live Action. In fact, we're desperate for it. So no excuses and propaganda can save Walter Hamada. Whoever takes over the division will face challenges including the fate of Superman. Henry Cavill, who played the part in Man of Steel and other films, is aging out of the role. Now, this has upset a lot of people because they're basically saying he's too old to play Superman. Now, again, this sounds like a journalist's opinion and not the studio's opinion. I think he's 39. People have made the point that Michael Keaton at 70 is playing Batman, blah, blah, blah. Listen. Henry looks great. He's definitely got maybe a movie or two and a few cameos still to go. I don't know what they're going to do about Superman. Sometimes I think they'll bring Henry back. Sometimes I think they'll recast. This is my opinion. It's not going to go down well. I ain't got an issue with the guy's age, by the way. But I do feel they may look to recast Superman. It makes a bit more sense for them if they're creating a brand new franchise. I'd love to see Henry again. But that's not a foregone conclusion. Right, so he's aging out of the role according to them, and the studio has yet to finalise plans for the Superman film that was being developed with a script from acclaimed author Ta-Nehisi Coates. So we can safely say that J.J. Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates' Superman is dead in the water, just as is J.J. Abrams' relationship with WB. As for Emmerich, he's in a new position as part of his exit package. He scored a production deal, but that means he will now be sitting on the other side of the table at pitch meetings in many cases. The faces that will be staring back at him will belong to his Friday lunch companions, DeLuca and Abby. So, do I have faith in DeLuca and Abby? Very much. Great job over at New Line Cinema. That belongs to WB when DeLuca was there. And I mean, one movie didn't do so well, and you know, was it Little Saint Nicky or whatever it was? Was it a Ben Stiller film or the other guy always getting mixed up? Good film, didn't do so well. So he did a good job at New Line Cinema, despite what some say. Great job him and Abby did over at MGM. They will get this studio moving. That's why Zaslav has chosen them. But it's imperative now that they find a leader for DC Live Action, remove Walter Hamada and the imprints of Emmerich as soon as possible and get moving. Because things are in a mess right now. There's no question about that. As I said earlier, I may be envious of what Kevin Feige and the MCU have done, but I was watching Miss Marvel earlier, and I was shocked how good it was, considering this movie wasn't made for me. It gave me Smallville vibes, and I really enjoyed it. Everything that Feige releases gets the world excited. That's what I want for DC. And right now, we don't have it. And finally today, let's talk about Tim Burton, because he's finally spoken out about being dumped from the Batman franchise, his Batman franchise, after Batman Returns. Batman Returns is one of my favourite CBMs, comic book movies and Batman movies of all time, and he deserved better. Let's check out what he's got to say. Tim Burton slammed studio for approving Batman's nipple suit after he left franchise. Fuck yourselves, Tim Burton says, and I don't blame him. It's frustrating. They sacked him because they wanted to sell toys, which they did, to be fair, with Joel Schumacher. But ultimately, those two movies were a bit of a laughing stock. I think Forever was better than Batman and Robin, clearly, but you know what I mean. This is by Zach Schaff of Variety. Tim Burton finds it comical to see the Batman movie franchise embracing its darkest tone yet in Matt Reeves' The Batman, when such a tone forced him out of the franchise following 1992's Batman Returns. Speaking to Empire magazine, Burton revealed he has yet to see The Batman. He noted, "I'd like to see it," but added, "It's funny to see this now because all these memories come back of it's too dark. So it makes me laugh a little bit." It's interesting. What they did to Tim Burton is exactly what they did to Zack Snyder. It's too dark. It's too this. Snyder did a great job with Man of Steel, BVS, the Snyder Cut, but they got rid of him because it's too dark. Now, kind of not it is the studio's fault for, being reactive. Of course it is. But it's the public. It's the media. It's everyone who stirs these things up. And it's a shame because Tim Burton is one of my favourite filmmakers. No question about that. Burton's Batman Returns was met with some resistance by Warner Brothers because of its dark tone, and the studio did not want to continue on with a third Burton movie. The director left and was replaced by Joel Schumacher, who went in a complete opposite direction than Burton, with over-the-top camp in Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Back then, they went the other way, Burton said. That's the funny thing about it. But then I was like, wait a minute. Okay, hold on a second here. You complain about me. I'm too weird. I'm too dark. And then you put nipples on the costume. Go fuck yourself. It's spot on though, isn't it? They're hypocrites. Seriously, so yeah, I think that's why I didn't end up doing a third film. I'm not just overly dark, Burton added. That represents me in the sense that that's how I see things. It's not meant as pure darkness. There's a mixture. I feel really fondly about Batman Returns because of the weird experiment that it felt like. As for adding nipples to Batman's costume, that was the brainchild of Schumacher and the franchise's lead sculptor, Jose Fernandez. Speaking to Mel magazine this month, Fernandez said the nipples worked far better in Batman Forever because they were less pronounced on the suit. Listen, I didn't notice the nipples in either movie until the internet kind of told me about it. It's like everything. The internet always ruins everything, right? But the truth is, why would you fucking put nipples on it? Unless I'm sorry, I don't get it. It wasn't a fetish to me. It was more informed by Roman armor, like Centurions. Fernandez said about the costumes nipples. Yeah, all right, Fernandez, we believe you. And in the comic books, the characters always looked like they were naked with spray paint on them. It was all about anatomy, and I like to push anatomy. I don't know exactly where my head was at back in the day, but that's what I remember. And so I added the nipples. I had no idea there was going to end up being all this buzz about it. Schumacher allegedly loved the nipples so much in Batman Forever that he requested to showcase them even more in Batman and Robin. Fernandez did not want to go in that direction, but he's the boss, so we sharpened them, circled them, and it all became kind of ridiculous. I didn't really care or think much about it, Fernandez added about the nipple controversy. Whenever I had a chance, I'd explain where the concept came from Roman armor. But after a while, it got its own life, and I just let it be. I couldn't think of it much more after that. Wow, look, it's embarrassing. Look, again, like Snyder, it's a difficult situation because you want to sell toys, you want to make money. This is why you make these CBMs in the first place. WB and, Disney don't make these movies for the love of them. It's because there's merch to be sold. There's so much money to be made from blockbusters. And George Lucas started that jazz off because he was a pioneer back in '77. So they're looking at Burton. He's a great filmmaker. They can see that. But his films are not making the money, the potential they know Batman can make. So it's a difficult decision. So Batman Forever did pretty well in the box office and they sold a lot of merch. Batman and Robin was an absolute flop. I'm assuming they sold a few toys, but not much else. So ultimately, was it worth getting rid of Tim Burton. This is the problem, the debate we've been having since Zack Snyder was ousted from the Snyderverse as well. What's more important, bringing in the dough or having, you know, an auteur director doing something amazing, fantastic, and unique? If you're the studio, you don't, you know, you kind of try and keep away from auteurs. Now, with the Joker movie, they're probably not going to be able to sell lots of toys, but the movie made over $1 billion. That's good enough for Zaslav. That's why he's becoming very friendly with Todd Phillips. He sees him as a big player for the future of DC live action. I would have loved to have seen a Michael Keaton, Tim Burton third movie. It's a shame. There's no right and wrong here. Warner Brothers, as accountants and a company who spend the money, want to make the money, made a decision. They got it wrong, ultimately, because Kevin Feige has mastered in the art of making CBMs that appeal to the family. And ultimately, Joel Schumacher and Warner Brothers got it wrong. And Tim Burton is a genius, as far as I'm concerned. I love him. But I don't think I can sway left or right on this, because if I'm Warner Brothers, I want to make loads of money, and Tim Burton's not doing that for me. It's very similar to what happened with Zack Snyder. But then Burton's made 2 amazing Batman movies. It's very, very difficult. And of course, things have changed today. Audiences don't mind so much, or some audiences like dark CBMs, and we've seen many dark CBMs make a lot of money. So just closing today, it's up to you how you receive the Black Adam trailer. If you like it, love it, or loathe it. But for me, I liked it rather than loved it, and I do see issues with this movie. This has been the DCEU Daily here exclusively on Movies TV Man with me, Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you again in tomorrow's DCEU Daily. Until I see you again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.